Okay, George.
So he's just going to
Yeah,
start talking?
he's just gonna, yeah, he'll start with introduction.
Okay, let's do this. Not my day, start.
Okay, ready? Okay, go ahead, Tyler.
Hi, I'm Major Tyler Leroy Schultz. I'm a A-10 instructor pilot at Davis-Monthan. My kids have been going to St. Paul's for the last 4 years, I think. I've got my wife, Shannon, and then 4 kids, Emma, Brax, Knox, and Hallie, 2, 4, 6, and 8.
Okay, so yeah. So Tyler, last year you got awarded a medal for bravery. What can you tell us about that? I know a lot of that, of course, secret, but what could you tell us about it?
So last year from January to July, I was deployed supporting Operation Inherent Resolve, the fight for against ISIS in Iraq and Syria. In May, I took off on a sortie really early in the morning with there's 2 A-10s, and we pretty quickly entered a pretty bad thunderstorm eastern Syria. The U.S. troops are typically pretty far behind the front line. They're just there to support and train the SD 100 to 150 or so that were sort of surrounding the U.S. troops, and were basically right at their fence line with suicide vests and guns, grenades, rocket launchers, everything attacking the U.S. forces right there. So pretty quickly, we were able to get overhead the friendlies. We dropped below the weather, which was pretty awful, and started doing some shows of force. So overflying them, dropping off flares, kind of letting the bad guys know that we're there, and the good guys hopefully know that, hey, support is on its way. And then we were able to get an update from they had a JTAC in their group, so an American Air Force young sergeant that was able to tell us where they were and where they were getting fired from. So pretty quickly we plotted that through some grenades, it was like a Willie Pete, so it's kind of a smoke grenade almost that we shoot, or rocket that we shoot, and then that was updated from our JTAC, the positions, and we were able to roll in with our gun and help support the friendlies. So ultimately it was about 5 hours or so of U.S. troops in contact, immediate imminent threat, and we were able to support, and the 50 or so U.S. troops that were being attacked were all able to make it home, which was kind of the most important part.
Awesome, yeah, that's awesome, Tyler. Thank you for that. Yeah, so you, as a pilot, well, humbly, you won't share this, but I know enough from content that you could have selected any flight assignment, any aircraft that you wanted to pilot, and you picked the A-10, which would not be everybody's Top Gun thing to do, but you were very intentional about selecting the A-10.
Yes, sir.
So why is that, Tom?
So I think well, you're too kind. I didn't quite finish top of my pilot training class, but I was close enough that I got FAPed, which means that I got to stick around and be an instructor. And so when I was a couple years, I was instructing in the T-38. I learned a lot of the mission that the different aircraft have. So the pointy nose fighter type aircraft that everyone thinks for fighters like the F-22s and stuff, they have a lot of air-to-air focus, and that's cool and all. But the A-10 mission really struck a chord with me, and I really thought it was like the mission behind it is what I really fell in love with. So the A-10 is built specifically for a close air support defense of our friendly troops on the ground, and that's really an awesome mission, I think, to get behind and to practice. So we work with the Army almost on every sortie, and our intent is to get find the friendlies and protect them. And so we'll do pretty much whatever we can to get in between the friendlies and whoever's shooting at them, and that's what we train to almost at every sortie. And so that's kind of what I really fell in love with the A-10.
Oh, thank you. What else about faith and being a pilot and a veteran and a soldier? Is there anything else that you want to share with folks that are going to be out in the church that might be helpful for them to hear about that?
Yeah, so I thought about even like the start of getting into aviation and stuff. So as a kid, I always my mom worked for Delta, so every aircraft I saw flying was a Delta jet as a little kid. And then once when I was 10, I moved to Georgia and met a friend, and I believe it was probably set up through God because my friend's dad ended up being a mentor, Boy Scout leader, soccer coach, everything, and got me, pushed towards the Air Force Academy and go be a pilot in that direction. And then so from there, just had to, study, get good grades, be an Eagle Scout, all of those things, so that I could get into the academy to eventually get a pilot slot and then work through there. So the whole time it was, through faith and prayer and hope that, and studying that you could get all of these steps along the way. Then once you become an A-10 pilot, you got to go through that 6-month course and upgrade and all the different upgrades along the way to eventually, train and be able to go out and conduct a mission and support. And so it's definitely been a long process, one that I couldn't do by myself, that I couldn't do without Shannon's support and, prayer. And then even once we're downrange, you're separated from your family. And so having the Lord strengthen my relationship with Shannon and, being able to rely on that is pretty awesome. And then, some of those missions that are difficult, you go back and you're able to, read your Bible, pray about it, and talk to your buddies that are out there with you, and that all helps you be able to, effectively do that mission and support it. So it definitely is a huge part of our life.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of the church, Todd, thank you so much for sharing that, and we are honored that you're a part of St. Paul's extended family here, and we're proud of you and all that you've done, but your family as well. And I know we as a church have prayed for you when you were overseas on assignment, Shannon with your 4 kids, and
right.
And Haley, your youngest, having health concerns. There was a lot of prayer going on at that time.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it.
And we got really connected with that, and just with a grateful heart, just thanking you for all that you do for your service and your witness, and just being a part of our church family. Thank you so much. You bet. All right, George, you get all that? Tell me you got that.
No, I didn't record.
Can you go back to the first?
Yeah. Yes. Right. Yeah. The ISIS. He's kidding.
Yeah.
I hope.